when we retired early, people said, wow, you guys are fearless, like we had it all figured out or something, and like we weren't worried about nothing.
Yeah, but that's not true. We do feel like sometimes we are a little fearless, but we do have worries, we do have fears and concerns. We were definitely confident in our decision to retire early, but we're not immune to fear. Today we want to share with you some of the things that still scare us, even after retiring early, not to create doubt for you, but to just to be honest.
Yeah.
Because if you're considering early retirement, you deserve more than just a highlight reel. You deserve the full picture of everything. So one of the things that, causes some fear for us is that thing that we get asked a lot in our comments, and it's about being away from family, having so much distance between us and our loved ones. Even though we have family all over the world, we have a grandson who's married and lives in Belgium. So it's not uncommon for us to have family around different areas of the world, but this is one of the biggest things that weighs on us, is being far away from family, loved ones, even friends and acquaintances. We slow travel, we spend time overseas, and sometimes we think, what if something happens? What if something happens when we're thousands of miles away? What if someone gets sick? What if we need to be there? And honestly, we have had this happen to us before, not when we were traveling overseas, but when we were first married, the kids were young. We took them on a trip to Disney World. It was one of our first trips to Disney World. Now we go all the time, but that was one of our first trips to Disney World. And we had all three of our children with us. And we got a call that my sister's husband had suddenly passed away. Now he was 32 years old. So sudden, so unexpected. So this kind of thing does and can happen, whether you're next door in the next state or across the country, across the continent.
And that's a real thing, right? We've talked about this many times before.
Mm-hmm.
There's that tension between freedom and proximity, but
Yeah.
kind of, here's what we've learned. Being physically close doesn't guarantee you're emotionally present.
Yeah.
And waiting for the perfect time isn't going to protect you from life or loss.
No.
Life happens whether you retire early or not.
Yeah.
Rain rains everywhere in the world, and it rains on everybody. It doesn't pick and choose.
It doesn't.
So that's what life is too.
Well, and honestly, the fully present part was important to us too, because when you're working full time, we've talked about this before, how you spend so much time and energy on your job that you don't have that emotional ability and time left. You just don't have it in you. You work and then you go to bed, and that's about it. Yeah. So it is a matter of being present and being there and just being available for people, and we can do that from a distance too.
Arguably, we may be closer to our family now because we talk to them more, it seems like, because we're not working.
We do. We make the effort and put the time in to be attentive and reach out on a regular basis. And it's really nice to touch base with them.
And that's what's working for us.
Yeah.
The second, or not in any sequential order, so to speak, but the second thing that people probably worry about, we talked about it, another fear was running out of money. To put it plainly, we even though we've ran the numbers and we live with well below our means, and we've structured our life carefully, there's always that little voice in your head, well, what if, ...
Yeah. What if the market drops? What if inflation spikes? What if healthcare costs rise faster than are expected? Those are real concerns, and those are things that are happening right now. We should all be concerned about that, whether we're working or retired.
But they're always happening.
Yeah, they're always going to happen. Things are always going to fluctuate. We don't ignore those things, but we also don't obsess over them, because we built flexibility into our life and into our retirement lifestyle. If we needed, we could spend less. We could travel slower. We could stay in one place. We could even generate income again. I'm a nurse. I could go back to work easily. Retirement isn't a trap. It's just a design. And for us, it's what we wanted to do, and it's working. So that's how we designed our retirement.
Well, and then we have health. That's another factor.
Let's talk about health. So health is another one. People ask us a lot, are you going to be able to do this forever? What are you going to do? Well, we're active. We take care of ourselves. You've heard us talk on the channel about going to the gym every day, about swimming, about eating better, especially when we're in Southeast Asia. It's so much easier to eat healthy and fresh. But even as much as we take care of ourselves, none of us are promised tomorrow. Any of us could get sick at any time, regardless of whether we're retired, we're working, we're healthy, we're not. What if one of us gets sick? What if travel becomes difficult? What if life looks differently than what we have planned?
Well, and that's not a retirement problem. That's a life reality for everybody, retired or not. And actually, the fear is part of why we retired early. We didn't want to wait until our best years were behind us. I mean, I'm a pretty regular obituary reader, and I see a lot of people I've known and contemporaries and people I've been acquainted with over the years. And gosh, it seems like I'm not saying that anybody dies too old or too young, but sure seems like they went well before their time, and oftentimes before they ever retired. But they probably were old enough that they could have retired a little earlier.
Or I've watched a lot of people get to the point where they feel like they can finally retire. Maybe they're 67 or 70, and then all of a sudden the health issues start coming in and they just can't do it anymore. So, we don't really allow that fear to settle in. We don't, if something happens later, at least we've lived fully the life that we could.
And then you talk about regret. Well, this one's a little deeper, I guess. And it's very subjective, right? There's no objective answer to this. What if we made the wrong choice? What if we would have worked longer, saved more, played it safer?
Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs, and you can drive yourself crazy. We have asked ourselves some of these questions, but then we ask a little bit different question. We kind of reframe it. What if we waited? What if we ran out of time? Mm-hmm. What if we traded our healthiest years for the security that we never actually needed? And that question really scares us more than any of the other questions at all. We don't want to run out of time. We don't want to wait. So then we kind of pivot our whole mindset. We pivot the way that we think. We pivot our awareness versus fear. And, we don't live in denial.
No, we're aware of the risk. I mean, knowledge, that old saying, knowledge is power. It helps take away that fear. No is usually just a request for more information. You might say no to something right now, but maybe you don't have all the information you need to give it a final no or not now. But we don't let fear drive the car, right? We know, and we're fully aware that for us and anybody, there's risk in retiring early, but there's also risk in waiting. There's risk of burnout. There's risk of health decline. There's risk of missed experiences. There's risk that the job you have today may not be there tomorrow for whatever reason, whether you're aging out or you're being replaced by AI or consolidation, whatever that thing that you can't control. None of us are guaranteed our careers.
Right.
That day and age is far past.
Yeah. Fear can either freeze you or it can clarify for you what really matters to you. So for us, it clarified that time mattered more than stuff.
Can't get that back.
So if you're considering early retirement, it's okay to feel afraid. It doesn't mean that you're not ready. It just means that you're thinking about it. You have the right attitude and those questions are going through your mind, and that is a good thing.
And the goal isn't to eliminate fear, or doubt or lack of understanding. The goal is to understand it, to learn, and to get those questions answered that you need for you. A lot of the questions are the same for all of us. And then to plan for it and to act and not be acted upon. Knowledge gives you the ability to act and not be acted upon, and then you can move forward anyway. Because there's no fear-free version of life, right? You can lock yourself in a room and still the house might burn down.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, there's only really intentional, knowledge-backed living.
Yeah, so true. So guys, if this message resonated with you, if this gave you a little bit of hope, then please subscribe to our channel, give us a like on this video, and please comment on it. We love hearing from our subscribers. We love answering your questions. If you look, you can see that we like to answer the questions, and we answer them pretty quickly. So please comment on our video, and please give us a hype if you like this video. It will help the algorithm continue to push this video out further. And we want to actually ask you for a favor. If you like this video and you're still watching, please share it with someone else. Share it with a loved one. Share it with somebody that will help them get over some of their fear of retirement at any age, whatever is right for them.
That's how we got to where we're at.
Yeah. So share it with others, and we'll see you on the next video.